Good evening. Welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry. This is our Music Minute, a chance where we look at our hymns that we'll be using in worship tomorrow and learn a little bit more about them. So we're going to go in, I think, reverse order today, and we're going to start with the sending hymn, In Christ There Is No East or West. This hymn came from a pageant of light and darkness. It was written for the London Missionary Society. Its words stress that Christ is the light in whom directional distinctions disappear. The tune features what we call a Scotch snap. So for music nerds among us, that's a short-long pattern as opposed to a typical long-short pattern of notes, which you would expect. And you'll know what I mean when you actually sing through it if you don't know what hymn we're talking about yet. This poses a surprise, if you will, in the tune. It's not what you're expecting. And that sort of matches the history of the tune, though. This points to breakdown of ethnic and other barriers. This tune was actually adapted by Burleigh, who was a significant black composer, and he actually reworked this and makes it much of what we sing today. So this is In Christ There Is No East or West. So a fun little walking bass line there to keep us moving and grooving. Moving on to the hymn of the day. This is God When Human Bonds Are Broken. And this is a much newer hymn. It was written in 1988. And it came to our hymnal from With One Voice. Remember that? The blue supplement that we used to have. And it was actually derived from a hymn that was to aid those struggling with divorce and broken relationships. And its meaning goes much deeper, though, if you really study the words, and we can use it in many, many situations. The tune comes to us from London, and it was written in the 1800s. Its composer was a professor of vocal music at King's College in London, and he also served as a professor of music at the School for the Indigent Blind at the National Training School for Music. That's a mouthful. And the Bedford College in London as well, so very well renowned. This will be God When Human Bonds Are Broken. We're going to switch over to the piano for this one. You might also recognize that is a tune that we sing in Advent sometimes. Hark, the thrilling voices sounding. So turning lastly to our gathering hymn, Love Divine, All Loves Excelling, probably one that most people will recognize. This is a Charles Wesley hymn, and we've talked about him a lot, and this might be one of his best known hymns if you take out Christmas and Easter. It's sung by Christians of all flavors, as they say, and it's a great way to express God's love for us through Christ. And a sturdy reminder that we are Christians who are both saints and sinners at the same time. So if you look at the words and study for that, you'll see that in there. Its tune is a Welsh tune, and it's a very common tune used in all kinds of denominational hymnals. In fact, at one point in time, it was the most commonly seen hymn in several hymnals. I don't know if that's still true or not. That was back at the end of the last century. So, at any rate, we're going to go with Love Divine, All Loves Excelling. So when you turn that into jazz, it goes around pretty quickly. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Maybe you learned a thing or two today. And if you're going to join us tomorrow in worship, that'll be at 11 o'clock. And on the YouTube channel, that'll be live streamed from the sanctuary. And of course, in person, we also offer an 8:30 as well here in the sanctuary. And thank you for joining us. And we'll look forward to being together again next week.